Welcome back to today's economic news. I'm your host, John, and today we dive deep into the troubling discourse around political narratives and their far-reaching consequences. They say actions speak louder than words, but what happens when words implicitly endorse appalling actions? We're unraveling the backlash sparked by Senator Chuck Schumer's seemingly lighthearted remarks following the horrifying terrorist attack in Sydney during a sacred Hanukkah celebration. And trust me, there's much more to this story than meets the eye. Why should you care about the tone of a few words? Well, it's quite simple, yet deeply unsettling. In a world where violence against Jewish communities is on the rise, rhetoric matters. It shapes perceptions, influences policies, and potentially ignites dangerous ideologies. Just think about it. When a politician chooses words that come off as dismissive, following an atrocity, what message are they sending to the victims, to their supporters, and to those who might be lurking with ill intentions? Today's narrative demands your attention because it's not just about one incident or one group of people. It's about the socio-political landscape that affects us all. Before we dive into today's incident, let's wind the clock back a bit. Remember back in 2020, the world watched as protests erupted and divisions widened. Political discourse became more heated than ever, and for certain segments of society, this rhetoric became an insidious echo chamber for age-old prejudices. The anti-Semitic undercurrents that surged during this period were not new, but they had found new platforms and new enablers. Historically, countries like Australia have dealt with anti-Semitism in waves. Public outcries call for action, but often the legal and political responses fall frustratingly short of meaningful change. In the US, this is mirrored in how segments of the political landscape have increasingly adopted hostile rhetoric towards Israel. Consider the surge in anti-Semitic incidents, an alarming 300% increase in Australia over just 2 years. In the United States, the numbers are equally grim, with a 315% rise in anti-Semitic events over the past 5 years. To translate that into real-world impact, imagine every seat in a large sports stadium filled with individuals who've experienced or stand against such hatred. Just this statistical rise paints a dismal picture of how deeply rooted and far-spread this issue is. What's worse, the governments are aware, yet the effectiveness of their measures often makes you question whether they truly grasp the severity at all. Senator Schumer perhaps thought he was striking a balance between levity and gravitas when he mentioned the bill's beating the Patriots moments before addressing a deadly act of hatred. In Sydney, I'm going to say a few words about the terrible shooting in Sydney, Australia. And first, of course, as I always say, go Bills. They beat the Patriots today. It's a big deal, he declared. Does he think this is an appropriate juncture for a sports analogy amidst mourning lives lost? That's the question echoing in the minds of the public. The backlash over these comments is not just about sensitivity, it's about a pattern of inadequacy in acknowledging the gravity of the circumstances shaping today's world. The real tragedy here is the mainstream narrative insisting on maintaining a balanced tone. But at what cost? When leaders fail to unequivocally condemn violence and instead sandwich sincere statements between trivial remarks, they douse the fire of hope with the water of mockery. A response filled with platitudes says nothing except, do we even care? Critics passionately argue that it's time for a confrontational approach. John Fetterman's voice emerges from this cacophony, emphasizing the urgency of addressing anti-Semitism head-on. It's an absolute betrayal for Israel and for the worldwide Jewish community. Fetterman points out, not confronting this directly only emboldens aggressors, patently ignoring a responsibility to the global Jewish community. Let's step into our libertarian realm, shall we? The surge in anti-Semitic incidents is not just a milestone of social unrest. It represents a form of inflation, a theft from the peace and cohesion we've worked to build. Resources that could aid societal advancement are instead funneled into handling hatred's aftermath. It's a situation where government incompetence failed to address root causes. And now more lives are in danger, and trust in governance is cracking under pressure. And what about the cost to our freedom? In this balancing act, hate speech legislation becomes a tightrope that may slip into encroaching on free speech. But what are our choices when lives hang in the balance? The dire truth is, in attempting to protect, sometimes liberty is at stake, dawning a harsh reality where hate must be battled without sacrificing the freedoms we hold dear. So, here's the crux. Rising anti-Semitism is a mirror reflecting society's darkest crevices that our political narratives often choose to ignore. A single tone-deaf comment is not just a blunder, it is a lost chance to denounce hatred emphatically and to redefine a narrative for unity and safety. If you are frustrated, if you are angry, if you are just tired of apathy masquerading as leadership, hit subscribe. Join us, challenge complacency, and let's demand a better world. Thank you for tuning into today's economic news. I'm John. Stay informed and stay vigilant.